No one I was with saw. Like literally my older brother's like the largest person you've ever seen. You'd have to like crouch to walk through the door. He didn't see. His friends also didn't see. The people didn't see. So it was just like, I was just there like on the dance floor, like what the fuck? You know, and then you're like there, you know, you don't wanna like make a thing of it because like everyone's like having fun or whatever. Where do you even start explaining that this thing happened? But then
and you can't, and you know what the thing about it is you kind of have to just continue.
You see,
it's like the thing happened to you, and like you kind of have to, and even for your own safety. So,
hey guys, this is Anisu, aka Nyati Shonga. Hello, my name is Chido, aka Chizzy. Wagwan, Advocate Amanda here. Hi everyone, this is Kuda, aka Coates. Hi, and welcome to As Told by Us, the podcast. This is a weekly podcast where 4 professional millennials discuss living in Zimbabwe and trying to figure life out. Someone once told us the grass is much greener on the other side. But from where we're standing, our grass is green. Subscribe, like, share, comment down below.
hello everybody! Welcome back to As Told by Us. So this week, I'm going to start off with the dilemma, and it reads, I, a 25-year-old male, started a friendship with a colleague who is 28 female at work. At first, most interactions were friendly. However, I gave her my number and we began texting. The nature of conversations turned quite sexual very quickly. She initiated this, talking about her sexual habits, and I reciprocated. Eventually, she started texting me saying that we should be in a relationship and how she would perform certain sexual acts on me, which I did not want. I made it clear that I was not looking for anything other than a friendship from her. All of this is captured in the text. I suggested that we should stop speaking with each other online. Last Friday, however, I was sent an email from HR about attending a meeting which took place this Wednesday. It turns out that I have been accused of unwanted sexual harassment. I was placed on leave and I'm so scared about what is going to happen next. I do have proof in text that any references to sexual chats was mutual. I feel like my career will be ruined through this accusation. Can anyone please advise? I have been a complete nervous wreck since this happened. Right. So, my boy is looking for advice.
Remember that episode when we were talking about the work environment and we said, don't talk to the people. Okay, I need to think about this one.
Yeah, while I'm thinking, okay, go ahead. I think he needs to out her. But you know, I think it's your shame. I can sympathize with guys because I feel like if he approaches it too aggressively, he looks like the bad guy. But he also shouldn't. I think he's already let it go a bit too far. I think he should have pulled out his receipts as soon as. But now it really is a question of the narrative. But if it's, you know, with some people, I think they become known in an environment to say that this person is capable of X, Y, Z. So I think he should just make his case and out her as cleanly as possible, depending on the nature of the organization and how hectic it is. I would say lawyer up so that you just handle it as professionally as possible, but out her.
Shame, it's so tricky also because I don't know. I think it's okay, like it's okay to be friendly. I think they were just overly friendly with each other, right? And I'm thinking, because she's 28 and he's 25, not that this matters or anything, but in my mind, I'm just thinking she was there first. And then he probably, like, joined the organization later, so he probably was just being friendly, right? But then, why were you talking sex with your colleague? You know what I mean? Worse if you knew you didn't want to be in a relationship. So why were you encouraging?
Yeah, why were you talking about what you would do to each other?
Didn't want. It's hard though, but I think what is interesting for me is the fact that he's being accused of sexual harassment because he said no. He's the one that said no. Mm-hmm. And so now she says, oh, okay, well, I'll get you, you know? And I think it's unfair, and I do agree with Amanda that he must just out her. If he has all the text, like he said, explain his side of the story, show the text that he has. I don't know, obviously, what version she gave HR, but I think he definitely needs to tell his side of the story and hope for the best.
MMV?
Yo, this is a tricky one. But some things are just not adding up also. Like, why didn't he just, like, present the receipts as soon as? It's very weird. Like, especially just knowing, just from a nigga's perspective, if you already know that, okay, I'm being falsely accused, like, right there and then it's like, yo, hey fam, I have the receipts. So either there's something in those texts which is like, a bit tricky, or there's something else at play here. But definitely, it's a very difficult position to be in, because also as a nigga, as soon as, if you're just accused, it's almost like you're pretty much guilty. Like, as soon as we get accusations like that, like, it's difficult to, like, change the perception, because now it's more of like, even if the evidence is presented, the perception of the dude is like, but you had that case, are you, you know? So I think he should blow it up. He should.
Shame, and it's so sad because she initiated it. Yo, is it okay? Let's exchange numbers. And they went into the DMs and suddenly it became sexual. But I guess at least everything is on record, I guess. So hopefully what he has is enough for him to back his case. The only unfortunate thing, like what you're saying, MMV, is that she went there first. So then becomes a situation where people are saying, maybe she is the victim and all of this. Hopefully he has enough evidence, and you should just, you should have done that a long time ago. Just said, okay, no, this was mutual. These are the details and all of that.
Not to go on a tangent, but how bad are women at taking rejection?
How what?
Bad are women at taking rejection?
Some women are very bad.
Right? I feel like this was more of like a revenge. Like,
it really was. But I don't know. Like, how old
did they say she was?
She's 28. He's 25. She shot her shot.
I think it's giving there's a big chunk of the story missing.
That's what I thought too.
I think there's a bit more to it because, women who are really bad at taking rejection won't be shooting their shots that much, I think. Because it's like
to that extent as well.
To that extent, because, what are we doing? So this story just feels like we don't know the full story. And I think that's just the difficulty with sexual harassment cases, because it's always going to be a he said, she said. Sometimes someone is telling their truth, but then it doesn't paint a full picture of what was really going on, because it could have been a rejection thing. It could have been a thing where she was caught by a boyfriend or someone, and then wants to make it seem like this guy is the one coming on to her. I don't know.
Okay, but also let me not hear in the comment section that this whole believe women thing is not real because women lie and blah, blah, blah. Okay, because 100 times out of 100, I will believe the woman first and then maybe investigate the story.
So in this case, you're believing the Han first?
Well, if she came first, right? I would have believed her story. Since she's the one that reported it, I would have believed it. And then that's why they then called him and said, hey, what's your side of the story? Because this is what we're getting. But I think the narratives about these things then ends up being like, oh, she's a scorned woman. That's why she doesn't. That's why she's reporting. And what I'm sensing, like Amanda, is there is missing things from this, right? But I think the narrative then always goes into, oh, women always cry wolf after guys have rejected them or they get caught. And then they start saying, oh, I was harassed, oh, I was raped, whatever, when something was consensual. And then we turn it around and, we get men into trouble, whatever, because we lie. But for me, it's always believe the hunt first and then verify. What is it that Risa said? Trust but verify. That's what I would do. I would have definitely believed. She came to me and said, MMV, sexual harassment. Of course, I'm going to be like,
Gasp.
Yeah.
Not gasp.
And then come to MMV's side and then hear what he has to say. You know what I mean? But I think also it would be unfortunate, for example, if HR is a dude, he'll probably be on the dude side and be like, but you guys, this was mutual. And then he said no, and then, and didn't take her seriously. But also, like, how do you go back to work after that?
Yeah. And I think what I've seen play out in practice is that there's a limited understanding of what sexual harassment actually is.
Period.
And there's a tendency where, especially if it's a situation like this, where there was some degree of consent at some stage, it's almost like you've waived your right to then have been uncomfortable with something or someone going too far. And then it becomes a gray area where a lot of people take advantage. Because then you'll find, like, say maybe if it's a hearing, if he just establishes that at some point she was consenting to what it is that we're doing, even if it got to a point where she didn't want any more, and he continued, they'll give him the benefit of the doubt of having assumed that there was consent in that particular situation. It gets more complicated if there's proof of, like, these people having been in a relationship or in a marriage, and then the lines just become blurred. So it's a very tricky type of thing to deal with. But like what MMV said before, it's a bit suspicious that this guy just didn't come out with his truth from jump immediately. Like, why are you holding on to your receipts?
Plus, he also kind of interchanged it, because he was like, in the text, he was like, and then we mutually were talking about these sexual things.
Why?
Like,
especially as colleagues.
It's someone in the office. Why? Are you bored?
So, if you haven't guessed, this week's topic is sexual harassment. Trigger warning, if you guys can't deal, I suggest you wait for next week's episode. But I felt like it's a very, very important topic that we need to discuss, especially like how it's so nuanced and there's like lots of gray areas. I feel it's very important to have the language if such things are happening to you, and to know that you're actually not alone. Like, people are going through this, be you're a male or a female, and it's important to have that to be armed with the language to be like, okay, no, this is sexual harassment, I'm reporting you to HR. So I thought maybe let's just start with the definition. Then let me read the definition for you. Sexual harassment is any unwanted comment, gesture, or action that is sexual in nature, aside from unwanted touching of body parts and all of that, which is sexual assault. So these actions make someone feel afraid, embarrassed, uncomfortable, or ashamed. The intention of the person doing the action doesn't matter. It's the negative impact of the action that makes something sexual harassment. So you saying, oh, we're just buddies, it doesn't matter. It depends on how I feel about these unwanted comments, gestures, or actions. So I just wanted us to do a Young as Told by Us sexual harassment session and share some of our stories, because I feel like, people don't think it's going on and people try to make it seem like it's not affecting people. So I don't know, do you have any who wants to go first?
Do you want to start?
I can lead.
Yeah.
So my main experiences with sexual harassment, I'd call them my pedestrian files.
It's so weird. I was also just categorizing things. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'd call them my pedestrian files. So like if I wanted to go somewhere and I was like walking to the rank, to the bus stop, or coming out of a place and walking to somewhere else, I've had instances where people actually, it's so bad. I remember once I was walking to the bus stop. So where I live, it's really far. It's like maybe like a 10-minute walk to get to where you get the combis.
Yeah.
Guys, I was in danger, guys. So I'm walking, I'm like, okay. Usually I put in my earphones and whatever, that's like one of my coping mechanisms at that point now. To just put on your earphones.
They don't. You just put them on.
They really don't. So this guy, I was walking on one side of the road and this older gentleman was walking on the other side. And I think he just figured, this babe is definitely going to catch a combi. Walking. He now comes to where I'm walking. And it started off so innocently because he was like, oh, how are you? I live in the neighborhood too, la la la. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And at that time, you're not trying to like walk faster in the hopes that he'll like stop and get the message. But he followed me all the way to the bus stop.
Yeah.
Thank God I hadn't taken out, so that day I didn't have earphones. Thank God I hadn't taken out my phone. So when he was like, give me your number, I was like, I don't have a phone. Please leave me alone. We get into the combi, he gets in next to me in the combi.
Oh my God.
It was so painful. That 10-minute ride to get into town was the worst 10 minutes of my life. The advances were just getting worse and worse from, what's your name? I lied, of course.
What was your name? What was the name you gave?
I think it was Michelle or Amanda. Sorry, Amanda.
Before you continue, does anyone have? So I used to have, back in the day, I used to have a set number that I used to give people, and a set name, just so I never forget. So my name was always whatever, and I had a number, like, what's your number? I would give you, but I'll give you that number. Did anyone else have?
I had my name just kind of became regular by usage.
Okay.
Number.
Kimberly.
Yeah.
Kimberly or Michelle.
Mine,
and then
the name
I had a phone
Michelle.
number. But like, this was like back in the day when, like, yes, you have your phone, but no one expects you to have it on you. Mm-hmm. Right now it's different because if somebody says, "Can I have your number?"
Exactly.
Chances are you have your phone on you.
Yes,
so
and then they're now calling to see if you've actually
verified
the right number. So that's why I said I don't have a phone, because someone has done that before.
Yeah.
Then they're like, it's not calling. Because it's the wrong number. And I'm like, yes, it is. I'll tell you that. So
I've had that before, and it was a judge.
Oh.
I won't say who, but it was literally like, give me your number, I'm calling you right now.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's my number. Yeah, but that's not the story I'm going to share.
Yeah, so those were the advancements. Give me your number. Where do you live? I think you're so beautiful. And then it got as crass as ever as we got closer and closer to town.
Oh no.
And then when I got out of the combi, he followed me.
Did you at least pay for your ride?
No, he did not.
Chido.
There's no romance in this one, Chido. He then followed me. So I then had to like go another route to where I was going.
Sure.
And then as soon as I got to like Joiner City, which was the most public place I could think of, I was just like, bro, can you please leave me
You see,
alone?
and your whole day is now diverted because you weren't going.
So I was like, okay, then said, oh, dude, you followed me since like home. Can you not see I'm not interested? Can you please leave me alone? And it was, oh, all right, kwacha. Hey, what? And I'm like, I said I wasn't interested.
The anger staging.
Yeah, so that's one of my many pedestrian chronicles. Yeah.
Well, yours just reminded me of mine. This was innocent.
It's a pedestrian item as well.
It's a version of it.
Okay.
This is innocent young me going to university for the first time. So at this point, I was taking a bus from Joburg to Grahamstown, and mind you, this is my first time. Like, I've never been there. I've been in high school, at home, safe, everything. I've been left by family members at the bus, the whole thing. We're going to school for the first time. I sit next to this Asian looking man, but yeah, it turns out he's from Bangladesh. But yeah, I sit next to this man. All right, so I've got my things ready. I've got my earphone trick ready. I've got a book to read. Me, cool. So this is a long ride, as you can imagine. So it's like your combi drive, but then a long version of it.
Like
so now, so he starts conversation, telling me about his family, this and that and that. I do the polite thing, I'm traveling, I'm excited, so I'm not particularly angry about anything. So yeah, it starts conversation, it progresses. And then he would do this thing where I think he had like snacks and Coke, and he was like smoking. So he smelled like cigarettes all the time, and it was like angsty every time we'd have to stop. Anytime this man would open his chips, he wants me to eat. Oh, no, thank you. No, eat. No, eat. He would
come on,
me.
Christian Grey.
So I take one, like, okay, cool. Give me his Coke, everything. He'd stop and get me stuff, guys. Like a lot of stuff. And it's like, no. So now, obviously, the conversation is progressing. It's talking about marriage. It was really intense because it was like his story was that he lost his whole family in Bangladesh, and then he decided to just travel. So basically, it's just like some lone uncle just on a mission. I don't know what. So then now he's like all hitting on me, talking about marriage and talking about how what he wants to do this and that, and I'm just there like. Then he kept on making me listen to his songs. Like this Bangladeshi music, and saying we play this at weddings, this one means this and that it's like love songs, like that dedication type thing. And I'm like not into this, and I'm like, okay, no. I remember there was a time I pretended to be sleeping, because then I thought, okay, this is the only way to get him to shut up and leave me alone. So then I pretended to be asleep, and I think I had like put on my hoodie or something like that, pretending to be asleep. Does he not start like moving my braids out of my face? While my eyes are closed, now he's like moving, and I'm like, okay, guys, that was the longest trip of my life. And I'm going to Eastern Cape, so this is like probably the distance from like Joburg, Bulawayo type of distance. It's long, and every stop I'm being fed. It's long. It's long. It was so terrible.
It's that long and there's no plane.
So what was the story?
There is his story about what.
His story was, I want you to be my wife.
He was ready. We were in love. We were going to get married. And then he's like, I'm going to look for you. Where are you going to be? Whatever. You're going to school. And then he like memorized. He promised me he was coming. And then he actually threatened me, I remember, because he kept on saying, if you don't, and I'm going to whatever. He kept on doing this, like...
for our fortune.
Guys, this doesn't even feel like... I don't think I even told anyone about this because it was so random. But he was like... I'm making a motion of like slitting my throat, but basically was saying you can't avoid me after this. I'm going to come to your school, whatever. I think he was at least moving on from that stop to go to PE or something, and he's like, no, I'm going to come back. I'm going to find you at your school. I don't remember what we did about the phone number. No, I think I got away with it with saying I don't have
you didn't have
a South African number yet or something like that. But then he's like, okay, I'm going to come and look for you, make sure this and that and that, and that was very uncomfortable. And I remember just like, and that was just the beginning. I feel like uni is your most vulnerable time because it's like you're a grown-up now in quotation marks, but you're not really a grown-up yet. But then people are just like all up in your
you don't know anything.
and you don't know anything.
And you really don't.
And like your no doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
To him, it's just like, okay, let me try harder. What do you want? Money? Do you want things? Yeah, buy you things. Okay, happy now. Give me what I want.
What do you buy?
Like chips.
Yeah, like
And
chips and
drinks.
snacks and like drinks and things. Like, bus stop type of things. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, we're laughing
And again-
at the stories now, but it's not funny.
That's so traumatic. It's so
And
traumatic.
I can probably match Anes who's walking to the bus stop stories because can I tell you guys, the moment I turned 16, I was motivated to get my license.
Yeah, same.
Because especially where I learned, it was like close to the taxi ranks. And again, I also had a bit of a walk going down. Man would divert, and then now you don't know, should I go home? What am I going to do? You try and go a different angle. Yo, guys. Can you leave young girls alone?
Please.
So when I was on my one of my pedestrian walks, this is not the story, but when I was on one of my pedestrian walks, so think about, what Jameson Hotel is, Park Street, 2/4 rent.
Yo, that's a pedestrian.
It was a long walk, right? And so what happened was I had said some windy, I don't know what to call him in English, but like
Windy.
a conductor. a combi conductor. So he had hit on me, right? When I was on the way to town. Right, and it dropped me off by Park Street because I was doing things in that area. So now, when I was wanting to now go into a combi, I saw him. So I said to myself, no,
I won't use that.
I won't use these ones. Let me walk all the way to 4th Street to just catch another one, just to get a different one. Right. He saw me. He realized I was ignoring him. And I would count 8 other windies followed me the entire walk. They called me all kinds of hoes, all kinds of bitches, all kinds of things, just because they noticed. So now they thought, oh, you think you're pretty, oh, you think you're this, who do you think you are, nah. They followed me all the way. Like they were women that ended up seeing me, and so they were walking with me, and thank God for those women. Like I wasn't going to stop. Ordinarily what I would have done is maybe go into a shop or something until they went away, but I realized they were not going to go away, so they ended up walking with me, just saying, listen, we'll take you as far as we can go, obviously, but they realized, because now I was at this point in tears, and I think I was definitely still in high school even. And I was so in tears at that point. I said, I'll never, when you vouch yourself, I will never get into a combi again. Ever, because ain't no way. Anyway, that's not the story. She didn't tell us the story.
Combis, guys.
No, combis.
I am going to drive
I'm telling you, I'll never.
There was this, so again, this is pedestrian files, right? And I'd be going home, because it was the guy, so there was a guy who'd always, I don't know if he had a store or Msika just by my combis, I don't know, but he was always just there.
Yes.
And it was always at the time that I was passing by that particular spot. Every day, guys. Every day. Getting onto a comp every day, he's there. Hi, it's been beauty. Say.
But why?
I would try go maybe the other side, the longer route to get to where my combis are. But still, he'd see me from across the road and kind of catch
Make his way.
Not I don't know how to translate it, but he'd kind of be like, people always say women are the same, but have you seen yourself? Kind of you're different. You're exotic. Or whatever.
All day.
And that was just so traumatizing because for a long time he would just always be there, and it got to a point where he was like, "Oh, I want your number. I want this," and I tried to give him the wrong number. Tried to call it. Obviously, it didn't work, and now it's like I'm in trouble. But I'm a few steps away from getting into the combi, but I can't now because this guy is like, hey, one day, how could you give me a wrong number? And then now it turns ugly, when you kind of reject the advances, it turns ugly. It's now like, futhi wakashaka.
So who you following me? So
why for the whole month were you following me?
And now I'm like,
and now because I've just said I'm not giving you my number, I've given you a wrong number. Now all of a sudden I'm ugly and you're not even worth the time anyway. Blah blah blah.
It's interesting how that that approach of you're so nice, what and all those cross compliments turn so quickly into violence.
Yeah.
So now
and it's scary. I don't think people understand how scary it actually can get.
Yeah. Could I hear the story?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess because I wanted to just give a different example that wasn't a chronicle. All right. Lest the people think we only get harassed when we are walking. No. But to be fair, I can't think of a time. So I have really bad now. I have developed really bad social anxiety, and it's thanks to the men. All right. So think about when you go out to a club. As if we go the four of us.
Chronicles, but
if we go out the four of us.
10 stories just in my head.
That's already an unsafe situation, right? And a lot of the times I will only go, so now I don't even go out anyway. But back when I did, I would never, if the four of us said, let's go out, I'm not going. Right? Until maybe we catch an MMV who'll say, okay, I'm coming too. Right? So that he can be my escort to the bathroom, to the bar, to the places, because it's so unsafe moving from your group, walking to the bathroom, just going to the bathroom alone. The pulling, the touching, the grabbing,
Wanting to come force themselves to run on you. It's like
all of that, it's so unsafe, right? And then you want to go to the bar, that's a different walk. Now you're standing by the bar for 5 years and the bartenders don't want to give you any attention, so you're just standing there. But what's even scarier now is the amount of roofing in the clubs now.
Yeah.
And that the fact that the bartenders are in on it is even worse, because stories that I've heard are, say, here comes a guy, he buys, I don't know, tequila. What's that one that they always sell? Whatever, the tequila gold, that one that's always in the buzz, right? I can buy one. So as a dude, I can buy one, right? And roofie it, right? And the bartender will take that aside, knowing it's roofied, and put it on the side, right? And so when Anesu comes to buy a shot, if I like Anesu, I'll signal to the bartender,
roofie that girl.
That one. And so you are just taking a shot because you're thinking it's a shot from the bar. What you don't know is it's the roofie shot that I purchased. And now Anesu's going to have it. Now tomorrow Anesu's doing, she can't walk, she can't do anything. And then I come, let me help you to your car. Right. And so even the fact that bartenders are in on it, the fact that security is in on it, it's so unsafe and it's scary. And then we get harassed at work, which is also a different thing altogether. I used to work at this place that I had to change. I thought if I changed how I dressed, it would be fine. Right. So instead of wearing my cute little work outfits, I started wearing really baggy nonsense. I stopped putting on makeup. Yeah, I stopped putting on makeup, just Vaseline. I wouldn't wear heels, just pumps. You know, like I thought like if I looked basic, bottom barrel basic, they would leave me alone. But still, no. It would still be like, oh, in fact, they noticed. And it was, oh, so you think because you're wearing those pants, those big pants, we won't notice. We won't see what's under it. You know, things like that. Where it's like, so when will I win? I'll never win.
It's wild.
Damn.
You have a story? MMV is really digesting our histories.
I just feel like, first of all, it's just terrible that all these experiences happen to you. You know, it's very disheartening to hear that. And as surprising as this may sound, and some may call me a paid actor, but a lot of times when we hear these stories, you know, sometimes like recently there's a video that surfaced about something that happened in India. There's this lady who goes around vlogging. Then I think she got raped like by 7 guys, right? So like we're seeing this news, right? It's me and my younger brother, right? And we're just like, what the fuck? Like, how does someone actually get to the point of like? And the thing is, it's random strangers who just decided to like rape a woman, and we're really trying to really process. How does someone like wait to like in the bushes and then just like it's so weird. Like some of these behaviors, trust me, like it may seem like all guys were kind of like on board with it, but to some of us we don't even understand how it's even possible, right? And because of some of these stories, even when we are like approaching women, right? Like let's say I want to mac on a hand, right? I actually have to be like extra like careful, cautious, and courteous. Because like I'm not trying to ruin nobody's day, right?
Or look like a creep.
Or look like a creep, you know. So it's really unfortunate. For me personally, in my interactions, I don't think I would have a story that's as bad as what you're, to be honest.
Wait, and this is not even, this is just PG.
These are
These are the friendly stories. I have one story that I'm like debating whether I should even say.
Say it.
Well, I was reminded of one when you mentioned Indians. Indian men are the reason why you won't find me on Facebook, because what the hell? So it's a time when I had just started a YouTube channel with my young sister. I'm not going to tell you how to find it, but if you find it, you can go check it out. So, you know, all our profiles, we then went public and did the whole thing to just sort of gain a following. So Facebook did that thing where, like, you know how you'd be on your Facebook and people could just, like, send you messages and then it would, like, pop up on your screen? Dick pics.
No.
I literally just, I swear. And it's like, I don't know who told the Indian guys. I don't know who told me. They found my account.
How did you know they were Indian?
You see from the profile most, and the way that they text is like there's these like cyber guys, and then it's just like, so it's like you just open your Facebook, pop up, ding 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 ding, and it's just like pictures of their genitalia, and I'm like, well, what the hell? Like I was like literally so shocked. You know, you're just like checking your Facebook, and then it's just like
assault.
You know, it's literally because it's like boom, 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 and it's like coming, and they're like not stopping, and then like you like send, and then next thing it's a video call coming in, and then you're like, what the hell? So then like now you're trying to close it because then Facebook doesn't even let you choose to open the message. It was doing that thing where I think they were pushing Messenger, so then it was just like popping up and opening messages, and then that was the end of my life on Facebook. So if anyone has ever like tried to interact with me on Facebook and noticed that I don't respond, it's because I'm not there. Like literally my older sister, who was like managing our PR, was my whole Facebook account. Like I was just like, no, I don't need Facebook in my life anyway. So yeah, cyber edition. Cyber edition.
Do you want to share it? Okay, I'll just
kind of debating.
Guys, it happened in uni, right? But it was something that, like, in retrospect, I was like, actually, that was sexual assault. Like, it was like I had gone to visit like a friend of a male friend, right? And, you know, like chilling, whatever, chilling, chatting. And then all of a sudden it just like Mandem was trying to like get a kiss. But it also felt very like, and I'm like pulling back, but they're like pushing in. And I'm just like, wait. And they're like, until it got to a point where I was like, kind of like already like almost like leaning over. Like
I literally do not want
I don't want this kind of thing. And it was, you know, at the time, I think I went and I was like, I don't know if I told you, Amma, and I kind of like excused it.
I know.
But then when I kind of started reading more about like sexual assault and all that, and I was like, wait a minute, that experience was a lot for me, because I think I was only about what, I don't know, 18, 19. And I felt like it was a safe place to be in, you know, because it was like, oh, this is a mate. And in my head, I never thought that like it would even get to that, but it did. And it was like, what just happened? And I kind of felt like a bit like, oh my gosh, I've been, like I wasn't sure how to feel about it at the time. But then obviously, as I said,
As you go.
as I went along, I was like, but actually, that hurts.
Girl, we won't even go into uni stories because
Uni Chronicles.
That was messed up.
that was
For me,
I've had really traumatic
and
experiences.
again, I don't know why it was also a Bangladeshi man. But this one is a club story, yeah. So I had gone to Australia for the first time, and we were in, it was like some conference thing. So then my brother and his friends also came because it was like a Gold Coast. So then we went to a club, and then like, so it's like Gold Coast, so it's like the Vegas type of area of Australia. So it's like really packed. So we're like in a club, it's like, you know, very busy, and I guess that's why there's these exotic people. So we're there, we're like dancing as a group, but then because it's so big, it's very hard to stay close-knit as a group. This man, it's not like we've been talking or interacting at all in the club, comes right at me and like I don't even want to say it was a kiss, he ate my face.
Oh, nasty.
Guys, it was disgusting because it like smelled like saliva and alcohol. He literally ate my face, and then he was gone, like in a matter of seconds. Oh my God. No one I was with saw. Like literally my older brother's like the largest person you've ever seen. You'd have to like crouch to walk through the door. He didn't see. His friends also didn't see. The people didn't see. So it was just like, I was just there like on the dance floor, like what the fuck? You know, and then you're like there, you know, you don't wanna like make a thing of it because like everyone's like having fun or whatever. Yeah. Where do you even start explaining that this thing happened? But then
and you can't, and I know what the thing about it is you kind of have to just continue.
you see,
It's like this thing happened to you, and like you kind of have to, and even for your own safety. So in a story that I will not share, right, I still had to continue seeing this person every day. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like I can't even make it into a thing.
you see,
Because you are in my life daily.
Yes.
And not only will it affect me, like if I say it, my friendships, because they're also friends with you, because they're also friends with whoever, it becomes such a thing that you end up just like not saying it. But actually something I wanted to ask so quickly, just back to Uni Chronicles, right, is I know your guys' school particularly worse than mine. So mine, it was there, but like not really. But that list, that used to have them peoples, right? I don't remember what your PU people called it, but
Reference list.
that reference list that had people that were, you know, perpetrators.
Persona non grata.
apparently there was a legal one some time back. I think before we were in practice. But where someone outed like
yes,
lawyers and whatever.
There was.
I know that one too. Yeah, and so I'm just thinking, because I think the biggest debate about particularly those lists was initially like the guy in the dilemma, where the girls had initially consented, maybe, and then they broke up, and then all of a sudden the bride's put on the list.
Yeah.
Right. Or sometimes it really was genuine interaction, but sometimes then when you start getting the story, you're kind of like, I'm not sure. Like, I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure this actually counts as sexual assault, you know? So how, having lived in that situation with that list, and obviously having to also interact with the bros on that list, did it affect anything? Do you feel like it was a helpful list? Do you feel like it should have just never happened?
For me, I learned a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I learned a lot. I learned that sexual harassment is very nuanced. Like how Anesu said at the beginning, that the intention of the perpetrator doesn't matter, but it's how it makes me as the victim feel.
Yeah.
If I just feel uncomfortable by whatever words you've said to me, or however you've touched my shoulder, even if you thought, Kuti, it was an innocent graze, for as long as I feel like you've crossed the line, then for me that's just the standard. If I feel like you've crossed the line, you've crossed the line, and that's that.
Yeah. I think it was, just to answer Kuda's question, so this is like a university, they call it the MSU of South Africa, or MSU is the
MSU of South Africa. Can they actually
no, actually, I guess MSU is the, whatever. But basically, it's a university with a very strong drinking culture, very strong partying culture, and that comes with a lot of, aggressive sexual behavior, and I guess Sodom and Gomorrah type of environment. So yeah, it basically, that's a good description, because it's very liberal. It's very, everyone is out there. Everyone's in business. And so what I found, especially having also gone into subwardening, which sort of puts you in a administrative position where you see a lot of things that happen. The rape culture was bad. First years, like almost on a daily at night, we were dealing with cases of people coming, this and that. All week is terrible. You literally really had to be trained as the people who receive these cases, and you had to do all sorts of sensitivity training, this and that, and like trying to teach the girls whatever. But then it's like there's no protecting yourself, because the lines were so easily blurred, to the extent that these guys who are doing this don't even see themselves as wrong to a certain degree or to a certain extent. Especially if everyone is drunk, everyone is doing like this and that. Like, you're girls, you're young, you also want to explore, you want to go out to clubs, you also want to do certain things. And many people then take that as an invitation to explore certain behaviors. And I think, in as much as the lines can be blurred, these people know. And guys take advantage of certain situations where it's like, I'm not going to get caught, or you're not going to do anything about it. Or they get to a thing, you actually want this type of mentality. So the list that Kuda mentioned, I think, was particularly important because it outed people who were like, the it people, in quotation marks, at university, the untouchable people. And which made it really difficult, because I could see, it was hard, because especially a popular person with a lot of friends, and I mean, it's not always like a big scary man. It's like, the nice guys, the guys you see on a day-to-day, the guys you interact with, the MMVs who are just there seemingly harmless, right? Like, I mean, it's like a girl coming now saying that MMV did XYZ, right? It's so easy for us to say, but he's always been so nice, professional, and respectful to us. But then in that situation, he has a sense of power over a person that, no one's going to see. And so, I think on the learning part of it, I think the worst thing is what Kuda mentioned before, which is like the silencing of victims, where you're like in a position where this thing has happened. But, you know, it's so, like even for my story that I told in the club, it's so bizarre, so random. I wouldn't even have been able to identify that man if I had said, oh, guys, this guy just came and did this. Where is he? I don't know. Is he that? I don't know. He's gone. He would have even been like, what the hell?
What happened?
I've never seen you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it would have been so awkward in that situation. So, yeah, guys.
This needs a part 2, guys.
Yeah, I haven't even gone through half the things I wanted to discuss.
I think we need a part 2 for this.
Well, stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, there's been so many things, and now we've also like moved on from just sexual assault, sexual harassment to assault.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Same WhatsApp
so
group.
many. It's literally
It is
the same WhatsApp group. It's literally the beginning of violence when you really think of sexual harassment.
And also, you'll notice that we're still on stranger danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even gone
It's not
into
even going to like mates.
what your mates be doing.
Yeah. Work. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for part 2. Thank you. Bye.